Here's something strange about retirement. The people who feel the most at peace about it usually aren't the ones with the most money. And the people who lie awake at night, running numbers in their head, very often have more than enough. So if money isn't the real difference, what is? After watching this play out again and again, the answer comes down to one simple thing: a quiet setup running in the background that most people never bother to build. And once it's in place, the fear gets a whole lot quieter. Let me show you exactly what it is. And if you're anywhere near retirement, do yourself a favor. Tap subscribe. This channel is built for exactly where you are right now. Now, let's be honest about how this actually feels. You've worked your whole life. You've saved something, maybe a lot, maybe less than you hoped. But every time you sit down to figure out if you're really okay, you hit a wall of noise. One expert says you need $1 million, another says 2. Someone online is retiring at 45. And suddenly, you're wondering what you did wrong. So you end up stuck in this strange place. You have money, but you still feel afraid. You're not sure if you're ahead or behind. And the more advice you read, the more confused you get. Here's the truth. That's not a money problem. That's a clarity problem. And clarity is something you can actually fix. So here's what I want to do in the next few minutes. I'm not going to hand you a complicated plan, 20 steps, and a spreadsheet you'll never open. I'm going to show you the simple setup, just a handful of pieces, the ones that actually decide whether retirement feels heavy or feels light. No jargon, no false promises, just the few things that genuinely matter, and why almost everyone overlooks them until it costs them their peace of mind. Think about it like this. Most people walk into retirement asking one question: how much do I have? But that's the wrong question. The better question is, do the pieces fit together? Because retirement isn't really about one big number. It's about a small structure. A few pieces that quietly hold everything up. Miss one, and even a large amount of money can feel shaky. Get them all in place, and even a modest amount can feel surprisingly safe. That's the setup. Let's walk through it, one piece at a time. Piece 1, predictable income. The first piece is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's the most important of all. Predictable income, not your total savings. The money that actually shows up every single month, like clockwork. When you were working, this was easy. A paycheck landed, and your brain relaxed without you even noticing. In retirement, that paycheck disappears. And most people try to replace it with a giant pile of savings and a quiet hope that the math works out. But here's the thing. Your nervous system doesn't understand a pile. It understands rhythm. It understands. Money is coming in again this month. That feeling of a paycheck is what kept you calm for 40 years. And it's exactly what most people forget to rebuild. So the very first thing your setup needs is a clear answer to one simple question. How much reliable income lands in my account every month? From things like Social Security, a pension, or steady planned withdrawals. Before I touch anything extra, that's it. Just that one number. Write it down. Somewhere you can see it. Because that single number does more for your peace of mind than your entire account balance ever will. It turns a vague, scary, "do I have enough?" into a concrete, "this is what shows up. This is what I can count on." And the moment you can count on something, the fear starts to shrink. That's the foundation everything else sits on. But predictable income, on its own, isn't enough, because income only feels safe when you know what it actually has to cover. And that's where the second piece comes in, the one that quietly trips people up the most. Piece 2, essential spending. That second piece is this: knowing your essential spending. Not every dollar you might spend. Not the dream vacations or the someday plans. I mean the bills that don't care how you feel. The ones that show up whether the market is up or down. Whether you're having a good month or a hard one. Your housing, your food, your utilities, your insurance. The basics that keep your life running. Most people have never actually added these up. They have a fuzzy sense of it, a rough guess floating around in their head. And that fuzziness is exactly where the anxiety lives. Because when you don't know your real number, Every expense feels like it might be the one that sinks you. So here's the magic that happens when you put the first two pieces side by side. You take your predictable monthly income, the number from a moment ago, and you set it right next to your essential monthly spending, and suddenly, you can see something most people go their whole retirement without ever seeing clearly. Does the money coming in cover the things you truly can't avoid? If the answer is yes, take a breath. Because you just discovered something huge. Your foundation is solid. The roof over your head and the food on your table are handled by income that keeps showing up. Everything else becomes a choice, not a threat. And if the answer is not quite, that's not bad news either. It's the clearest, most useful thing you could possibly know. Because now you know exactly what to work on, instead of just feeling vaguely afraid of everything. Let me pause here for a second, because this is the part I really want you to take with you. If this is already making retirement feel a little less foggy, do me a quick favor. Drop a comment and tell me which piece you've never actually sat down and figured out. Is it your real income number, your essential spending? I read these, and they shape the videos I make next. And if this is helping, a quick like genuinely helps the channel reach other people who are lying awake worrying when they don't need to. Okay, back to it. Because the next piece is where a lot of comfortable people get blindsided. Piece 3, monthly pressure. The third piece is monthly pressure, and the biggest source of it is debt. Now, I'm not here to lecture you about debt in some moral way. Plenty of people carry it. But here's what matters for your setup. Debt isn't just a number you owe. It's a claim on your future income. Every monthly payment is a piece of your paycheck that's already spoken for, before you even get to decide how to live. And in retirement, when your income is more fixed, that pressure feels different. It feels heavier. A car payment that barely registered while you were working can feel like a weight when your income is locked in. So the question your setup needs to answer isn't just, how much do I owe? It's, how much of my monthly income is already committed before I've spent a single dollar on living? The less of your income that's pre-claimed, the more room you have to breathe, to adjust, to handle a surprise without panic. Lowering that monthly pressure, even a little, often does more for your peace of mind than chasing a higher return ever will. Piece 4, margin of safety, which brings us to the fourth piece. And honestly, it's the one that separates people who feel safe from people who feel constantly on edge. A margin of safety. A cushion. Money you don't touch, unless something unexpected happens. And in retirement, something unexpected always eventually happens. A roof, a car, a health surprise. Without a cushion, every one of those events becomes a crisis. You're forced to sell something or borrow something at the worst possible moment. With a cushion, the same event becomes an annoyance instead of an emergency. You don't need it to be enormous. You just need to know it's there. Sitting quietly, doing nothing, which is exactly its job. That cushion is the difference between "we'll handle it" and "oh no." And that one phrase, repeated over years, is most of what peace of mind actually is. Piece 5, see it all in one place. And that leads us to the final piece, the one that quietly ties everything together, seeing it all in one place. Here's what almost everyone does wrong. They keep the whole picture scattered. A little income knowledge here. A vague sense of spending there, the debt living somewhere in the back of their mind, the savings in an account they avoid looking at. It's all in pieces, floating around, never connected. And a brain trying to hold a scattered picture will always default to fear, because it can't see the whole thing at once, so it just assumes the worst. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. You write it down. One page. Income that shows up each month. Essential spending. Monthly pressure from debt. Your cushion. That's it. Not a fancy plan. Not a forecast pretending to know what the market does in 15 years. Just the few real numbers that actually run your life, sitting together where you can finally look at them as one connected picture, instead of a pile of worries. And the moment you do that, something shifts. The noise gets quieter. The expert shouting, You need 2 million stops mattering so much because you're no longer comparing yourself to a stranger's number. You're looking at your own life clearly, maybe for the first time. The person retiring at 45 online stops bothering you because their setup was never yours to begin with. This is what I meant at the very start. The people at peace aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones who can see their own picture clearly. That's the whole secret. Clarity beats wealth, almost every single time. So let's bring it home. You don't need a complicated retirement plan. You don't need to predict the future or master some system full of terms designed to make you feel small. You need 5 simple things working together. Predictable income, so money keeps showing up. A clear view of essential spending, so you know what it has to cover. Low monthly pressure, so less of your income is spoken for. A cushion, so surprises stay small. And one page that holds it all, so your mind can finally rest. That's the setup most people ignore. And it's the one that quietly does almost all the heavy lifting. The basics, organized, will carry you further than complexity ever will. Here's what I want you to do before you click away. Drop a comment and tell me honestly, out of those 5 pieces, which one feels the most out of order in your life right now? The income, the spending, the debt. The cushion, just being able to name it, is the first real step. And your answers genuinely shape what I cover next. And if any part of this gave you even a little relief, hit that like button. It helps me reach other people who are carrying this same worry alone. And since you clearly care about getting this right, go ahead and watch the video showing up on your screen right now. It's the perfect next step from here. I'll see you in that one.